I would like to seek permission for recording of this event. So we are recording this event और मैं
Yes, sir.
आपका permission चाहूँगा so that we may record it with your permission.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ratna, please.
Ji. So, on behalf of CRNPD, which is Center for Research and Advocacy of Child Rights and Persons with Disability, me and Shashank ji are the two co-founders of this organization, and we have been hosting a series of webinars, and most of you have been already with us. So, thank you for your time and energies that you're putting in. And today also on behalf of CRNPD, I welcome all of you to this discussion, because COVID, as we all know, has been impacting every family, and NCPCR already has figures about how many children are totally orphaned who have lost both their parents, and they are without any family or a family-like environment. So we need to do something, because there are their neighbors and their kins and kids who are willing to take care of them. So along with DCPUs and CWCs, we want to have a discussion that how feasible it will be to avoid a second cycle of trauma for these children, and we can provide them a family-like environment, either with their neighbors or with their relatives. And if CWC finds that after monitoring and reports submitted by DCPUs that the children are happy in these arrangements, so these kids and kins or the neighbors may go in for a long-term solution, that is adoption. So to initiate this discussion today, I invite Mamta ji. Mamta ji, your views on the topic today. And Mamta ji is a former CWC chairperson.
And a former member Delhi Commission for Protection of Child Rights.
Also a former member of Delhi Commission for Protection of Child Rights. And Vedehi ma'am
Yes, sir.
is a present member at JJB.
Chairperson. She's chairperson.
Chairperson of CWC.
Okay.
Okay. But she was also at the JJB, no?
Yeah, I was in JJB.
He was in JJB. She was in JJB,
Yeah.
but now she's
JJB.
chairperson.
Okay. And we also have another Shekhar Ambati.
Yeah.
He has worked in Bihar, who were orphaned during Bihar floods in 2008. And we have Rajiv Sinha, who was with the Plan India, looking after Bihar and Jharkhand. And now he is with Freedom Fund. And he has also worked on the ground for providing kinship care to those children who were orphaned in these Bihar floods. And we have Pushpalata ji, who is a nodal officer in Bihar. And we have Dr. Nilima Mehta. She has worked a lot on adoption. And we have Preeti Seth.
So, Ratna, can I say something over here?
Yeah, please.
So, friends, I welcome on behalf of CRNPD, all of you, all participants, speakers, 4 esteemed speakers, and all esteemed participants. So we have been joined by Ms. Preeti Seth. And Ms. Preeti Seth is representing the organization called Miracle Foundation India. And they have been working on kinship social participation of society in the rehabilitation of the child. And their stress is more on deinstitutionalizing the children and not to motivate children to remain in institution for quite a long time. So this organization is working on social rehabilitation and social reintegration of children. And they have shown keen interest in the topic of today's webinar. So I have invited Preeti ji to participate in this webinar, and we are looking forward to work with the organization Miracle India Foundation in a long way for a long period of time. So I welcome Preeti ma'am. Preeti ma'am,
Thank you.
over here, and we are looking forward to work with you. And maybe I am not very coherent because of the fact that I have been just out of hospital. Please forgive me for that. And now let us start with this webinar. And I would request Ratna first to put up the points on behalf of the organization. Preeti ma'am, Ratna is one of our founding lifetime trustee of CRA, CRNPD. So her points will be the points which we are considering that we will be discussing in the long run today, and maybe after that also, because this is one of the webinars which we are conducting on this topic. So I invite Ratna to please, Ratna, please come and take over the stage. We have
Thank you,
four
Shashank.
speakers. We have four speakers.
And most of you are already aware about Shashankji's background. But he is, for the others who spoken to him over this, he is a former member of Delhi Commission of Protection of Child Rights, and is an advocate at the Supreme Court of India, and he's the co-founder of CRA CRNPD, which is Center for Research and Advocacy for Child Rights and Persons with Disability. And he has coined a term, invisible children. Children who are existing physically but are not in the radar of any scheme or of the government or beyond the last child. At this organization, and children who have been orphaned during COVID, who are fully orphaned, who have lost both parents or who have lost single parents. So they are also still invisible for all of us. So there are children beyond the last child, and what we aim is to provide them a family or a family-like environment through kinship care, or finally through adoption, if the CWC is convinced about that family and the well-being of the child in that family. And we want to avoid, further trauma to these children. And another thing that we want to focus is that siblings should be kept together, because they've already lost parents, and now don't want that they should lose their siblings also. So as per law also this is feasible. And if there are any points that we need to put in the policy, we would like all of you to contribute to it. And if there's further change to bring in the law, we are open for that also. We'll try to focus on that as well. So these are the 2 points that we wanted to focus today. So you may contribute keeping these 2 points in focus. So Shashankji.
Yeah, please. Please,
Yeah.
we have Mamta Sahai with us. Mamta,
Yeah.
Mamta is a former chairperson, CWC. She was also a member. CWC, Mamta, if I am correct, you were a member of CWC, this Mayur Vihar. So Mamta, and now
chairperson and member both.
And then she was a member Delhi Commission for Protection of Child Rights.
Yeah.
And both of us, me and Ratna, worked as a colleague, like a team, and I found her very motivating, very sincere in dealing with issues of children. So now I would like Mamta to say something on this aspect, and I think her contribution will be very, very valuable. Thank you, Mamta. Please proceed.
Thank you. Thank you. Recently, I've also been inducted in the committee the state committee where we are talking about sponsorship and foster care, where still Delhi does not have a clear-cut mandate as such. We are still, I was a part of this even in 2007-8, I remember, when we thought of rolling out sponsorship and foster care, but the finance department of WCD could not, actually roll it out. Then again in 2019, again there was a deliberation on this, and there were, there was
Model
again
guidelines for foster care.
yeah, foster care and sponsorship. So my take on this is that kinship is not part of the Juvenile Justice Act as such, if you see right now. But foster care and sponsorship, foster care does talk about kinship. It does not talk about kinship in the name as kinship, but it talks about how family should be taking, could be taken care of children, and relatives of families, well-wishers of families, they can come forward and take. So I think to actually think of deliberating on it as only kingship care, I think we will need to change somewhere it has to be coming into the law. That is my take on it, so that there is no problem whatsoever. And as we see sponsorship and foster care, in spite of JJ Act being since 2000 and even earlier, we still haven't rolled this out, and the alternative care system is still facing a lot of challenges when it comes to getting money for these children, when it talks about giving them timely compensations to the families. So it is a very good group today. I would love to hear everyone else also. But my take is that Section 45 of the Juvenile Justice Act talks about sponsorship, and it also talks about, it is an alternative. We do not believe in institutionalization of children. We believe that children have to be our best in a family environment. So that's why we have alternative cares like adoption. I think the adoption guidelines, adoption law actually, which was, I remember when I was in a committee with Justice Altimus Kabir, when we strengthened the then Section 41 of the Juvenile Justice Act, which was adoption, we brought in a lot of changes in the adoption thing, and we also created, you will be, surprised to hear that we had a whole new law for children, for adoption especially, because as the Hindu Marriage Act talks about adoption, but the Muslim law still talks about guardianship. It does not talk about adoption. The right of a child under the Muslim law, or the else of the parents, like we get in adoption. So when Section 56 adoption under JJ Act talks about, Section 56(2) talks about adoption of child from a relative by another relative, and it is given importance in the court of law that if such a child is adopted not by people who are unknown to him, but to people who he is related to in some way, then the court, I believe, also looks into it, and that's why Section 56(2) absolutely talks about it. It reads that, talks about that any relative or somebody else related to the child, or and it does not need to be immediate relatives. It talks about relatives in a very, very broad sense of the word. So when we talk about kinship now, I think those things actually boil down to kinship care. Foster care. Foster care under Section 46 talks about group foster care. It talks about community foster care. It talks about foster care by an individual. Selection of foster care families, how should it be done? It talks about families' ability, capacity, prior experience of the foster family. So that I thought was a very, very important point which we should get. And wherever we see under the Juvenile Justice Act, they are talking about committee. Committee here absolutely means the Child Welfare Committee. When we talk about, as far as we see that freeing children legally free for adoption is done by the Child Welfare Committee. If you read sponsorship and if you read foster care, the role of CWC comes out in a very, very beautiful way. And but sadly to say, like we were discussing the other day also, that how many children actually the CWC recognizes as a fit person to take a child is very, very small in numbers. I don't know, it also came up that many times the CWC is scared of taking the responsibility. But under the law is very clear on it. It talks about fit person by a CWC. If there is a fit person, I remember a case that DCPU structures had just come up in 2009-10 and all, there was absolutely very little they were doing. But what I could see was that the reports they would give us were very, very, I would say, they were not up to the mark. And I was never convinced by their reports. So we used to send our POs who were attached to us from the department to go and again look into the child if we were declaring a fit person to take a child into it. I also remember that it is such an important part of this, because we need to know where the child comes from. We need to know why the family is unable to take care of the child. We need to know the traumas the child faces, maybe because of dispute between two persons, maybe because there were some families who wanted to give their child to us and put them in children homes because they said that there was no money. So I remember RTE Act came in 2009 and all, then we used to tell them that, our POs used to help them, get them enrolled into education, where they would get one meal at least, and then we would motivate them further. So when we talk about kinship care, I think it is very, very important to understand that how the child is going to go into that. Especially a child who has lost both parents from COVID. What does the child, what is the way the CWC is actually going to take this action, where it will declare that now, I think the Delhi government has said that they are going to give 2,500 per child for whichever child goes into sponsorship. Foster care is still to be decided, but sponsorship we are nearly on the verge of finalizing that 2,500 per child will be given, and siblings, as we see in kinship care, should not be separated. What Ji said, and also with my talk with Shashank Ji, here we are talking about that after the child is whose parents were succumbed to COVID, if that child comes and we get him into kinship care, then how, after maybe 2 or 3 years, when we know that the child has fully adjusted into the family, can the child be adopted by that same family? Am I right, Shashank Ji? Is that the main thing which we are discussing?
Yes,
isn't it? So, as according to the law, I think it is very clear that after kingship also adoption can be done. It's not a difficult thing to do.
That's why.
Ma'am, if you remember, even in the model foster care guidelines, we have suggested the same thing, that even if the same family who took the child in foster care wants to continue with the care, they can go in for adoption of the child. But that goes through carings only, they have to register.
Yeah,
how
they have to do that.
parents need to decide, yeah.
The whole,
Hmm.
see, after that, the whole process of adoption will have to
Has to start.
follow.
Yes,
It
yes.
cannot be shortcut anywhere.
Nowhere.
The
Yeah.
parents, yeah. So we are very clear on that.
Yes.
That, you know, adoption. I remember of a case in CWC. I remember that there was this child whose parents died, and this child was taken over. No, the mother of the child died, and the child was taken over by the husband, and he did not want anybody else of the family of the mother to take the child, and then he remarried after 6 months. So when the child came in front of us, her arm had been broken. So when we further spoke to the child, and then, you know, we thought there was something fishy. We got to know, we got a SIR done, and we got a spot visit by the PO done. We got to know that the stepmother of the child would beat her so badly that twice her arm had been broken. इससे पहले भी एक बार टूटा था, और वो बच्चे का जब वो हमारे पास आई थी ना, उसका हाथ गलत जुड़ा हुआ था, मगर वो भी टूटा हुआ था. You can't imagine what a state the child was in. So then we started, you know, then we said that we'll have to remove the child from the care of the father. So we declared the Taiji and Tauji of the child as fit, because they came to us begging that we live next door and this mother is cruel towards the child. I remember we you know, fit person declare करके हमने shift करा बच्चे को, and then उसका पूरा इलाज कराया हमने, and after 6-8 months the father again came back to us कि नहीं, मुझे वापस चाहिए बच्चा. But we were still not convinced. But then CWC cannot give the child in permanent custody at all, you know. Our powers are limited to only fit person. So after that, the child had to be, actually I said, you have to go through the adoption route. And then that's how I remember they did go into the adoption route. So here it was not that we were giving sponsorship, foster care or anything. It was just a fit person with them. So I mean to say that when children are, you know, have lost parents, a single parent or a child has lost both parents. So the role of CWC is very detailed. What we see is that the CWC will get from the DCPU, the role of DCPU under the Act is very, very detailed. It also says that once the CWC passes an order about the child going to go into sponsorship, or a special committee which is made by the DCPU on this, and they will further recommend, and they will do, you know, they will also have to recommend. So CWC becomes one part of it. The second part becomes this committee. My question here is that during this COVID times, are we ready to wait for so long? We know how the government works. We know the delays which happen. We know exactly.
मैम, लेकिन जो वॉलंटरी प्रोबेशन ऑफिसर्स का प्रोविजन है, वो तो इमीडिएटली ऑर्डर करके वो तो अपॉइंट होने ही चाहिए, ताकि वो मॉनिटरिंग हो सके उस फैमिली की, उनकी होम स्टडी रिपोर्ट्स आए और बच्चे की प्लेसमेंट के बाद भी मॉनिटरिंग कंटिन्यू रहे.
तो विद इन 21 डेज का रत्ना जी रखा है कि 15 से 21 दिन में ये सब पूरा होना चाहिए, क्योंकि हमको इमीडिएट केयर देनी है ये कोविड वाले बच्चों को. वी कैन नॉट वेट. DCPU विल गिव CWC, and after they give their report, if the CWC still feels that it is not appropriate or they want to add things to it, so they can again ask. But now, as an emergency situation, I think we really need to speed up things, and we, instead of having so many forms, multiple forms and everything, we should simplify the whole system so that the child gets immediate placement or the child get immediate immediate money which he is supposed to receive, so that his care can be done in a proper kind of a way. So I
So
think,
I can see Anant also. Anant, welcome.
yeah, good to
He's
see
there.
her.
Yeah.
There, Karuna is there. Charu is also
Yeah.
there. All the esteemed members.
Yeah. Neelam ji also is there from
Great,
Jamia. Yeah.
great, great. So basically, I just feel that kinship care, which leads to adoption, is a good option. But we need to have policy changes before we can actually do it in a proper kind of way. And I think the state has to be finally responsible. That is my take.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Mamta, actually, we did this webinar in spite of of being in a very bad phase of life,
I know.
and Ratna both. But we did it only because of the fact that we want it to be done hurriedly. We don't want to
Absolutely.
lose time on any front at any point of time. This
Absolutely.
is the need
Yeah,
of the time. So we did it. And now
I
we will
know.
continue
That's
with it.
absolutely Shashankji. I think it's worth uploading that you have not even recovered from COVID, and Ratnaji has gone through so much herself.
Yeah.
But it is very nice, and we will
Yes,
help in whatever way we can under
we need to
whatever.
do it. We need to do it. And we have very little time so as to
Please, I would love to hear
make
others speak.
certain
Hani.
changes.
Yeah,
By any way they can do it, we will see to it that it is being done.
absolutely.
So uh, I hope, Mukta, I can invite
Yes,
another.
yes. Please go ahead. I'm here to listen to everyone, and we can take questions later if there are.
Okay, yeah. Ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
So now, may I request Mr. Rajiv Sinha? Rajiv Sinha is program advisor to Freedom Fund for two states, specifically Jharkhand and Bihar, and has been looking after the project related to hotspot in northern India. So Rajiv is again a staunch supporter of rehabilitation of children in society and the role that society has to play in rehabilitation of children. He's been instrumental in so many international programs being conducted by different foreign universities in India, and one of them being was done by Columbia University on inter participation of different stakeholders as far as community participation is concerned in the state of Jharkhand. And we all know Jharkhand actually needs community participation. In the interiors of Jharkhand, community is the only support because the government support comes after the community support is there. So may I request Rajiv to please come and take over the dais. Rajiv ji.
Yes, Shashankji, thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you to all and Johar to all to giving us the opportunity to speak and much needed and very timely organized webinar. This is, I must say. And actually the whole sentiment, the way we are seeing is going for like, peoples are like suffering and they need emotional support and various other supports. So I must say this is very timely webinar. So just I will take 1 minute for my brief introduction, although Shashankji has introduced me. So I am Rajiv. I'm basically located at Ranchi, and around from last 15 years I've been working for child protection. So I have worked in Bihar, Jharkhand, and so I was associated with UNICEF, then Plan India, and right now I'm associated with the program advisor for the North India Hotspot program for the Freedom Fund. So basically through the Freedom Fund under this program, we are supporting around 10 partners in Bihar and UP and covering around 25 districts. And the objective of the thing is that to create a environment where all survivals and vulnerable families to child labor and trafficking are linked to safety net through livelihood options, through education, better education, through better health, like Ayushman schemes and other government entitlements. And as Sasanji was saying that I am being part from last 5 years, I'm being part of interagency action research on community-led approach to child protection, which speaks about bottom to top approach where community is in decision-making power. It's not that we are guiding the community, but guiding in community, but community himself is that much capable and that they are taking decisions to how to protect their children from various harm. So maybe in some other platform, if we get opportunity, we'll share the reports and evaluation reports and learnings about this action research. So, but today, as you're saying, coming to the kinship care. So everyone know, like we have lots of STEAM members whom I follow also on Facebook and LinkedIn to get updated about the child protection system is here. And so it's not the required that we explain what is kinship care and why it is needed. So it is established fact that children, if going in institutions, children homes or certain homes, it's not the although our act says it's the last resort, but I would say it's not the it should not be the option. But dilemma is that we have no other option, and we when we work in the child protection, any cases comes. So the very first thing is that we have to suggest that you first keep the children in the children home or any shelter home, and then only we will be able to do. So basically, if we see that some data is also last previous data, be it either with by UNICEF, by SOS India, or by Childline India Foundation, we have the around 30 million children who are orphaned or abandoned. And out of these 30 million children, only generally on average, 3 lakh to 4 lakh children are on our tracking system, whom we are tracking or monitoring some way, either through a sponsorship, either through foster care, or either through adoption, or apart from this, they are on our institutions, CCIs, they are there. So that's the hard fact for us. And second thing is that now these number of these orphan children and children who have lost their parents have increased many folds. Although we have recently got the data from NCPCR, which NCPCR has filed to the Honorable Supreme Court that around 9,000 children has been found orphaned. And that was basically from UP, Bihar, and few states. Not all India report is there. But I must say that these are as we are saying, that even the COVID cases are very unreported cases are not coming in the media and the government data. So similar, this is happening with the children also. So maybe we are getting the data that 9,000 children have been either orphaned or lost their any one parent, but numbers could be more. So more, and it is very much needed that we immediately start some work on supporting these children. So personally, if you ask me, personally, last 15 years, what I've seen that we, as a civil society member, we do support. We are supporting state governments and to develop SOPs, guidelines, and everything. And we see that some merits and demerits always in the JJ Act or whatever laws we say. CARA guidelines also, lots of challenges, merit, demerits are there. But my point is that I have never seen the full and end-to-end rollout of any such SOPs being developed or any guideline being developed. So I think it is the time, high time that this time I absolutely agree that there is a need to have an SOP, or maybe if the states don't have any SOP for foster care, sponsorship, or kinship care, they need to develop. Or where the states where SOPs are already there, maybe certain changes will be required. But my focus is that we should now more focus on creating such model or creating example of how this kinship care or adoption or maybe family-based care is maybe more better term we can say, is to be promoted in the community. So because our DCPU team has lots of limitations. So basically 13 people or 14 people are on their board, and unlike other departments, we don't have the arms or like we have the cadre till the village level. Although we have the CPCs has been created, but even the CPCs are functional in the villages where only some civil society organizations have intervention. Otherwise, most of the villages CPCs are not functional. They lie on the paper. So limitation is the in district team has only 13 people, and we have the lots of the children who got orphan due to COVID, or they have suffering some certain sort of challenges they are facing. So we can see a model where like this help of civil society organizations, maybe creating a cadre of voluntary provision officers, voluntary outreach workers. We can take help of also like state legal services authority, because they have the already trained paralegal volunteers, and through them we can reach out to those children, immediately have their case history, immediately there we have
Thank you,
the
Rajiv.
individual care plan.
And
And-
Shashank ji, now can we invite Preeti ji and Ambati, because those who have been working on the ground on rolling this out.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
Hello.
Uh,
Ratna, I think we must call Shekhar Ambati first, because
Okay.
he's supposed to speak.
Sure.
So, Rajiv, आपको और भी कुछ कहना है? आपको कुछ बताना है? You can take.
No, but my point was, I just briefly sum up. So my
Yeah.
point is that we immediately start maybe in a campaign mode, where at least 50 children, 100 children has been put in a kinship care, and those people who have taken their responsibility kinship care are like shown as a role model in the community, in the media, so that as this gets promoted.
Yeah, Rajiv, I strongly support your view, but as far as giving children into adoption after kinship, after successful foster care and kinship, adoption, finally turning it into adoption, I don't see it's very, very feasible and practical right now. We have to ease out the way of adoption before this.
No, I agree.
Our mind
Sanji, I
is
agree.
that taking the children to adoption centers. Now, when you take the children from the kinship, from the family, those then the children know कि ये मेरे मामा की family है, चाचा की family है, ये मेरे नाना है, मेरे दादा है, या मेरा दूर का भाई है. अब वहां से उन बच्चों को फिर for the adoption, existing adoption process, हमको adoption home में ले जाना पड़ेगा. CWC Mamta very well said, CWC को उसको foster legally free for adoption declare. It will take time. And already traumatized children को आप एक known family से निकाल के एक कैसे environment में ले जा रहे हैं जिसके बारे में उसको कुछ पता नहीं है, ना उसको उसकी future के बारे में पता है. So this is how are we going to tackle this? और आपका जो राजीव जो आपसे बात की हुई मेरी, आपका जो ग्राउंड लेवल पे जो एक्सपीरियंस है, that will prove very handy to us. तो इसके साथ साथ कि हम डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, we would expect a note from जो आपको क्या प्रॉब्लम्स नजर आ रही है, क्या हैसल्स नजर आ रही है, और हम कैसे उन हैसल्स को दूर कर सकते हैं. थैंक यू राजीव, थैंक यू, थैंक्स अ लॉट. और अब हम अपने हम नाम शेखर अंबाती को रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे कि वो आए, और and the platform is Mr. Shekhar Ambati's. Shekhar Ambati, Osmania University, say he has done MA in social works for 15 years. He has worked in child protection in UK, and now he's back to India. He's right now in Patna, और 14-15 साल के इस लंबे एक्सपीरियंस के बाद खास करके सोशली बच्चों के सोशल रीइंटीग्रेशन की बात करना, किनशिप की बात करना, जिस पे इन्होंने काम किया है यूके में ऑलरेडी. सो वी वुड रिक्वेस्ट हिम टू प्लीज कम एंड टेक ओवर द स्टेज. अभी शेखर अपना एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन चला रहे हैं, गो रेड एक्शन फाउंडेशन के नाम से. सो शेखर प्लीज कम, थोड़ा गो रेड के बारे में भी हमें बताएं, एंड यू शेयर योर एक्सपीरियंस विद अस. मिस्टर शेखर अंबाती. Yeah.
Am I audible, Shashankji?
Yeah, you are
Yes.
quite audible.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
Just a second. Let me welcome Neelam Sukramani, ma'am. Ma'am, you are most welcome. And now, Shekhar, the platform is yours. Please.
And Shashank ji also welcome Roonam ji.
Oh, I haven't seen her.
CWC. She's
I
there.
haven't seen her.
Yeah.
Okay. Aruna is our
Child
Uh,
Welfare Committee. Yeah.
she's from Child Welfare Committee and is our nodal officer.
Nodal officer. Yeah.
Yeah, please proceed.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Shashankji.
Yeah.
सभी के लिए नमस्ते एंड थैंक्स फॉर द अपॉर्चुनिटी। शशांक जी, आपके पास वो हो सकता है, आप
जी जी बिल्कुल।
स्क्रीन शेयर कर सकते हैं जो प्रेजेंटेशन।
Are you running that? Do you have this? Do I need to share the screen with you?
नहीं, वो
अच्छा,
लैपटॉप प्रॉब्लम हो गया था तो मैं मोबाइल से कनेक्ट किया हूँ।
ओके, तो मैं आपको कनेक्ट कर रहा हूँ।
जी।
ओके, अच्छा।
Just before Shashank ji puts on the PowerPoint, I would be speaking around 10 to 12 minutes max, and I would be focusing on kinship care, but actually our the terminology or the wording is much more family and friends care. So in case if I start talking family and friends care, I'm pretty much referring to kinship care. Because as Shashank ji said, having worked for 15 years in the UK and now coming to India and trying to adopt to Indian terminology, I'm sure it will take time. But I think it's pretty much it's only the words. The objective of those words or the processes, I don't think there would be anything different, because no need to reinvent the wheel, as we always say. I think Shashank ji is trying to. Just I have put that in the chat, Rajiv. It's been long time. Good to see you here on this platform. And the most recent report by NCPCR to the Supreme Court is 30,000 children. So in 1 week, we managed to pluck 20,000 plus children. So I have tweeted Smriti Irani ma'am saying that if she's going to change her stance, because they're still saying 577 children. So we haven't had a reply yet. Whether we will have or not, we don't know. Because not many people are answerable or responsible nowadays by the sound of it.
Is the screen visible?
Okay, so
Shekhar, is the screen visible to you?
Yeah, Shashank.
yeah, it's visible to me.
Okay, please proceed.
Yeah. Thank you. Without knowing much of the audience, I put it very, very basic. So if you find it quite basic, I do apologize for that. And I'm happy to peel it off and go into more in depth should there are any questions or clarifications towards the end of the session. Yeah, it's as it says, it's rishtedari, natedari. What is typically what we the language what we use, and we were actually using it, as Ratnaji said, especially when Bihar was hit, where myself, Ratnaji, and Raju were the team, and we were trying to do this to some extent. Obviously, not in a kind of paper-based. So rather than it is more of from our hearts that this is where the children should be going to, the family and friends care wherever there is a possibility. This is also an alternative to institutional care, like Mamtaji and Shashankji and everybody has been mentioning. We have spoken so far, or else promoting non-institutional care, because I think that should not be even last resort, the institutional care, especially in India, because I am party to some of those gruesome conditions of those institutions, so-called, we call it children homes, and none of the children actually deserve to be in those kind of conditions. So yeah, that's how we feel, and I thought kinship care will be summed up. And next slide, please, Shashankji.
Trying it, I'm not getting. Yeah. Is this the next slide? Or yeah.
Yes, please. Yeah. There are not many. There are only 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So food for thought this afternoon. I don't know. I'm sure if I would have asked this question to youngsters nowadays in India, the first name Marilyn Monroe, nobody might have even had a clue. But I'm sure Shashankji would be able to jump off and say, "Oh yes, I know her very well." So there are many people. Eddie Murphy, Steve Jobs. These are very famous figures. And why did I put them here? Is actually nothing but they were all either fostered, and after fostering, they were adopted. Eventually, they were some sort of in family and friends care, whether we call it a kinship care or foster care or eventual adoption. And still, they have become successful, hugely successful, as probably beyond anybody could imagine. The kind of conditions, the kind of childcare they were party to, they were subject to when they were children, very young children, or in their teens as well. Next slide, please. And I'm not sure how many of us knows about this girl, and she has become a sensation in that Olympics when she won medals after medals after medals from USA. And she says she's a 4-time Olympic champion. And I'm actually wondering, how long is it going to take for India to say, or somebody to come forward and say in our Indian society that actually I was fostered, or I was part of the kinship family, or I was even adopted, and this is what I am today. And she actually talks about 400,000 children being actually in foster care in the United States. And as she has become the gold medalist, the 4-time Olympic champion, she reckons that every child has that kind of ability if we are able to nurture, if we are able to spot the talent and provide that kind of holistic environment for them. And that is the power of kinship care, and that is the power of fostering, and that is the power of the creating that kind of environment for the children. But where are we? How far are we?
Ambati, what I want to say is that this is the power of love and care that is given to a child in a family.
Absolutely. And next slide, please. From the very brief discussion I had with Ratnaji and Shashankji, considering their ill health and still they are recuperating, their body language and the kind of, their stature actually shows how much they are tired, but actually they still put this together. So put very quickly, why kinship care? And I think these pretty much the bullet points. In a layman language, you don't need to be a robotic scientist, you don't need to be a great social worker or psychologist to understand that these are the pretty much simple things. Says kinship care minimizes the trauma. That is the bottom of it, and that's what we are all trying to do at this point of time as we speak, especially for the children either orphaned or lost one or other parent or either parent. Improves well-being undoubtedly because they are part of that family structure, as Ratna has also said, the love and affection what they get. Increases permanency. I'm not quite sure how much that word permanency is used in Indian context, and I'm not undermining Indian context, so you need to excuse me because, as I said, it's only been 3-4 months I've returned from the UK. So, but this is the word, actually, a very powerful word used across the board, especially the courts. The first thing the court asks me when I go to the court, that what is the permanency shaker for this child? Tell us the permanency. Improves behavioral and mental health outcomes because obviously they will be out of trauma. Promotes sibling ties, and I think Ratnaji already touched upon it. And then preserves identity for children and youth. The last part is preserving identity for children and youth it is also very, very important. And hence, what we wanted to promote is to stay the children to remain within the family, within the friend circle. This is where I would like to use that word, the beautiful Nelson Mandela. It takes a village to raise a child. If not a village, let's talk about the community, which also to some extent Rajivji has mentioned. So Shashankji already came on to the next slide. I'm not going to read out, I'm not going to peel it off each and every sections of this slide, but this is the practice in the UK around kinship care, and it has got many connotations. So happy to share this presentation with everybody if anybody is interested, rather than me going into the details. And towards the end, I really, was wondering actually, is somebody not able to smile back at this kind of child? And this is what we wanted to see, all the children happy and smiley. As my amma says, my mom says, they are like God and goddesses. But what are we actually doing or not doing for these kind of children who deserve the best of the best? So I actually wanted to thank you for this time and inviting me onto this forum on behalf of those children, not just from Go-Red Action Foundation or not from Shaker side, but on those children, so that let's hope that we can make some difference in their lives, because there are scores of them out there in the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mati. Thanks a lot for sharing.
Ratna, please proceed. Ratna, please proceed.
Shashankji, please invite the next speaker.
Next speaker is Madam Charu Makkar. Ma'am, are you there?
Hello, Shashankji. Yes, I'm very much here.
Yeah, please proceed.
All right. First of all, a very good afternoon to everybody, and it's very interesting to hear you all give your views on kinship care and how it's come out that that's something which is needed at this time, particularly COVID cases, where children are in families, and the concern that Shashankji raised about children who are already in a care situation, not getting away from that situation or being asked to move from there to another situation. I'll just want to share a different viewpoint to what has been discussed till now. See, if you really look at the JJ Act, the rules and the adoption regulation, there are enough provisions there. Maybe the term kinship care per se is not used, but there are enough provisions within the Act and the adoption regulations promoting kinship care and how that kinship care can get formalized so that the rights of the child get protected, and it can be formalized in the form of an adoption or a more permanent relationship in terms of declaring somebody, initially as a fit person or giving a child in foster care and then coming on to adoption. So for this, I'll just briefly like to also speak about what do we understand when we say who can be adopted. So what comes to our mind immediately is any child who is orphaned, abandoned, or surrendered. Yeah. That's what comes to mind for all of us when we think of adoption. Whereas if within the Act itself, there are actually four more categories of children who can go in for adoption, which is again a permanent family, so that the child stays in a family situation. And as Mr. Ambati said, that institutionalization should be the last resort. So to promote family-based care, there are other categories also which are really not so much known about. And that is what needs to be tapped in today's times. So we've talked, Mamta ji briefly talked about foster care and relative adoption. So foster care, it's very clearly in the sections in the Act as well as the rule. It's clear that any child who's been in a long-term foster care which is 5 years, the family can move a petition for taking that child in adoption. One. But at the same time, what's the main concept here is that any child less than 5 years of age should not be given by CWC in foster care immediately. But this, in today's COVID times, if the child is with some family, which is relative or neighbors, foster care is something which can be looked at. Also, declaring immediately at this moment what is required is any child who's with some other person than the parent or natural guardian, the child should come, the case should be got into the knowledge of the CWC so that an assessment can be done and the person can be declared as a fit person, so that again ensuring the rights of the child, the safety of the child, ensuring care and protection is provided to that child. Also, the JJ Act in section 56 and section 60 clearly mentions about the adoption of a child by a relative. The adoption regulation 51 and 53 further talk about in-country relative adoption and inter-country relative adoption, and there is a full process. So actually there is a provision within the JJ Act for adoption of these children. So, talking about having another SOP or focusing more on that, I think what is now required at the moment is more awareness on what's there within the Act for protecting such children. You have already a provision for fit person, foster families. You have a provision for relative adoption. Also, the JJ Act 2015 has included for the, in the amendments when it came, adoption of a child by a step parent. Now imagine a child, I was hearing, I'm forgetting, somebody mentioned, I think Mamta mentioned about this case of a child where the step parent was ill-treating or something. Let's take the child is with a family step parent and the biological parent has passed away. Now this child will not have any natural right to the step parent until unless an adoption has happened.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
So the whole provision is very much there for, adoption of such children within the Act itself. So what we really need to do is look at these provisions. Foster care is again something we really, all of us need to look at in terms of, looking at for placing more children there. Also, sponsorship is another factor wherein immediately once you've declared a family person or a neighbor as a fit person by the CWC, in that case, the child can be linked to these sponsorship programs. And I'll also like to mention here that till the time a final, final adoption or any other order wherein the child, there is a stability in the child's life in terms of where the child is going to stay. Till such time, there is a need to also protect the rights of the child in terms of the financial part or the inheritance part of the child. That is also with something which needs to be looked at immediately. And if we talk about relative adoption, that's where this will be also taken care of. So we really need to work towards creating more awareness on these points, which are already there within the Act.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, ma'am. I think one thing is very clear. Foster care and a sponsorship. We can give a child in a foster care in a family which may not be very economically comfortable. But if a child is comfortable in that family, we can give the child in foster care to that family, and finally we can give the child into adoption to that family, and we can link the child with sponsorship also.
Sponsorship?
For the convenience, for the education and health and other related aspects related to the child. Ma'am, there is a question. The question asks that a fit individual can be declared for a period of time. And what after that period is lapsed? That is what Dr. Neelam Sukramani has asked, and she wants to know about it.
Shashankji, fit person can be declared for a maximum period of 1 year. And before declaring a fit person, an assessment has to be done by the DCPU, or home study report is to be done, and that report submitted.
Yes.
At the end of the first year,
Again,
like
that.
when I was in the child welfare committee, I have done this in our committee where one child was with some construction worker. Somebody was working as a construction worker in the next house. And this lady, a single lady, and that person had 5-6 children. So she took this child in. And this child was living with her. But then she came to us saying, I want, I should not be harassed about this. So an assessment was done and the child was found to be very comfortable with this girl and in good school. So she was given in as a fit person. And when the period of 1 year was ending, an assessment was got done again through the DCPU.
Okay.
And you can then again, based on the report, extend that you can again declare it for another period of 1 year.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
And
Thanks.
can also consider option as a foster care also option.
Okay.
After an assessment.
After this assessment. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. Now we have Preeti ji with us, Ms. Preeti Mahajan. Sorry, Preeti ji, are you there? Preeti ji?
I don't see her, Shashankji.
Preeti Seth, I think, I'm sorry.
No.
Preeti Seth, ma'am, from Miracle Foundation, India. Are you there, ma'am?
Yeah, she's there.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I would request-
my system got stuck. So sorry.
Okay,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah.
So I would like you to share your views on this in the coming 5 minutes, ma'am, because we are running short of time.
Sure, Shekharji. Thank you. I'll be very brief. So thank you very much. I think with this whole group, I would just want to share Miracle Foundation India. We are working on the ground and with our goal of that every child has a family, and we work on safe and permanent reintegration of children. And while we do this, we have two core objectives. One, prevention of children to enter into the network and enter into the institutional care system, working directly in the community in the model of family strengthening. And second, our objective and initiative is to transition and support the children from institutional care back to the family-based care. So this is what our two core initiative in towards placement. And while in today's topic, particularly we are talking on kinship. So I just want to talk because we work through different approaches. Like hamara kuch, I'll just be like kind of a bilingual. So we work with the direct partners, also direct institutions where we provide technical support in terms of how to prepare children, families for reintegration. And at the same time, we are connected with the state officials and district DCPUs while doing a lot of capacity building of the DCPUs at the different states. Presently, our programs focus mostly on the 10 states in South, North, and West regions. So some of the ground realities which we have seen over our work of the last almost 12, more than 12 years, and more focusedly in the family-based care model in the last 4-5 years. I think, and now in the last 2 years, when it comes particularly on the COVID and protecting children during the COVID situation, in the last year when COVID started, we had almost to 31 children we have been successfully placed. We were able to place them in the kinship care completely. And while we have been doing those, yes, migration, we have seen the issues, the major ground reality which we are seeing synergy on the awareness. people and the ground people at the official, district official, CCIs, they do not know the provisions of adoption. They do not know how to take the process of the adoption. They do not know how to link the families into the scheme, because so this is what synergy is missing, which I think is a major of our observation and what we have been working over the years in creating that synergy, and not to create any new system or any parallel system, but work very closely in the government and reach out to the ground level through these schemes. Second, also what we have been seeing is, because of this lack of synergy and awareness, there are a lot of children who turned out to be in an institution, who can easily be placed with even if biological parents are no more, they can easily be placed in the kingship care. Of course, adoption, foster care are the next alternative, should be the next alternative. First should be the own family of kingship care, extended family, their own, and where the siblings can stay together. This is what we have been. And then towards adoption and foster care. And another thing I would say is, yeah, through caring, through CARA system, there are a very clear protocol set, but that is what the training aspect on the adoption and CARA, that is missing. And for foster care, we have seen that there are very less children who actually turned out to be going into the foster care, because there is for every state there is a different state foster care guidelines, but there is lack of a very clear SOPs on the foster care. So, but there have been some great initiatives, particularly I can give examples of a couple of states, at least where we work, like Maharashtra, Gujarat, where the states have been very, very proactively coming into creating the SOP systems and being proactively working on the policy level changes. But yeah, still, I think these are the areas. And so considering all this, what is now our focus is, which we have been working, and actually this year, due to COVID, is this time we have seen, and we all know that how much this threat on the children is on the illegal adoption, which is happening. So here we are working towards a lot in building up the capacity and building up, like there are advisories and all which are in place for that. And I think what is the need is this sponsorship program that has come from every state for the children who have gone orphan. So every state have declared the so and so amount, but what is missing is standard SOP. What is the process towards it? How does the family and child can avail it? What are the do's and don'ts, so that the sponsorship does not get a reason for any other child to come into the unsafe area, and they just be in that safety network. So I think that is which is missing, which we are also seeing through our work, where we are also expanding our support and working with the district.
Thank
so
you,
this is what I wanted to.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. What I feel is we are thinking of economic comfort of children more by way of a sponsorship or anything like that. I don't see any program, anything, any policy paper coming on the mental health of the child. Mental health of a traumatized child, what are we going to do? Are we going to make our children further rebel? क्या हम इन बच्चों को, जिन्होंने इतना बुरा दिन देखा है, उसके बाद इनको रिबेल बनाना चाहते हैं? इनको अपने सिबलिंग्स को अलग अलग करना चाहते हैं? What are we doing for their mental faculty? क्योंकि it's the mental faculty जो बाद में बच्चों को एक अच्छा सिटीजन बनाता है. स्पॉन्सरशिप तो आ जाएंगे, कहीं ना कहीं से आ जाएंगे, बट व्हाट अबाउट द मेंटल हेल्थ? हमारे पास कोई पॉलिसी नहीं नजर आ रही है जहां हम कोई एक परमानेंट स्ट्रक्चर, कोई परमानेंट चीज क्रिएट कर रहे हैं अपने बच्चों के मेंटल हेल्थ के लिए. एंड दैट इज वेरी वेरी नेसेसरी. Although my children are adults, but I have seen them suffering. I saw them, how they cuddled to me and my wife when we came back from the hospital. My son is an adult, but still, what will be the feeling of a 5-year-old, 3-year-old, a 2-year-old child? So these are the mental health is one of the biggest issue we are going to face. 10,000 20,000 बच्चों को 1,000 रुपया या 5,000 रुपया दे देना या 23 साल के उम्र के बाद 5 लाख रुपया दे देना is not a big issue for a country like India. Paisa is not everything. A child is a human being. He's a thinking child. Just, I would request every government to think about the mental status of the child. Are we not going to further aggrieve them? Let us protect them from further torture, from further, what I mean to say is, well, I don't have the word. I don't have the word. I can't find a word for the mental status of these children. So let us think in that term also. अरे जब बच्चा ठीक रहेगा, जब बच्चा स्कूल जाएगा, जब बच्चा पढ़ेगा, तब तो आप उसको स्पॉन्सरशिप का फंड देंगे. जब बच्चा ही रिबेल हो गया, बच्चा ही आपके इंस्टीट्यूशन में जाने को तैयार नहीं है, what will you do? Where is the right to participation of a child in such a big issue? इतनी बड़ी बात है जो पूरी जिंदगी को डायरेक्ट कर रहा है, अफेक्ट कर रहा है, वहीं आपने बच्चे से पूरा के पूरा राइट टू पार्टिसिपेशन छीन लिया. So let us think in that term, and we have with us, it is my privilege to introduce Anant. Anant Asthana is a very renowned person. He has so many legal interventions in the High Court, Delhi High Court and Supreme Court. And Anant, I must say I am a huge fan of yours. So I would grab this opportunity, since Anant is there right now, to talk to us, guide us, and lead us. Anant, please take up the platform. Anant.
Thank you, Shashankji. Thank you. This was quite unexpected for me, but I'm very glad that you have put this forum up.
Yeah. Anant, actually, I didn't want to miss this opportunity. I wanted to hear you on this issue.
I actually came to hear the speakers there, because all the speakers which you have invited today, they come with very, very valuable experience.
Yeah.
And I mean, what I am trying to do, I can share. I'm trying to understand what's happening at the ground, what are the realities, what kind of problems are being faced by the families and the children, and build a dialogue around it. Because the better informed we are, and the better engaged we are with the processes and the policies, everybody is trying to do, things. But the challenge before us, that all our collective effort has to channel into some kind of coordinated response. And the risk is very high that we may end up creating lot of new systems, which will again take a lot of time to get strengthened. For example, most of the states I'm seeing the new task force are being created, right? And I'm really concerned about creation of new systems. Instead of creating new systems, whatever systems have been created by now, I feel that if we could strengthen them, then they will be able to deliver better than any new system. So, I mean, I look at the whole response from that point of view. And of course, bring in people from a very diverse section. These forums definitely add great value in enhancing our positioning and knowledge. So thank you very much, Shashankji, for putting together. And I look forward for more such initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you, Anand. Thank you. Thanks a lot. And last but not the least, we have with us Dr. Neelam Sukramani, Professor Social Works, Jamia. And ma'am, would you like to share something about the mental health issue of children, about who we are talking about?
Shashankji, thank you so much. I just like what Anand said, I had also come to listen to the perspectives of others, and I have been sharing this time and again also the fact that kinship care has a lot of value, because we've seen that also. I have been sharing that at various platforms, that when we did the study with children of incarcerated parents, we saw that children who were who had experienced uxoricide, which means that the parent was accused of the homicide of the other parent. In those kind of cases also, the family members had come forward to take care of these children. And we could clearly see the fact that even though those placements had not taken place through the CWC, it was a natural progression from the one parent not being there and the other parent being there in prison. These family members were taking care of these children, and we felt that that they had such a powerful value in terms of being able to mitigate the effect of incarceration and the death of the other parent. So that's something which came in like really it hit us very hard, that we thought that these children would have gone through a lot of trauma, some of them even testifying against the other parent, and also seeing the seeing the homicide of the other parent as well. But the fact, the kind of buffer that the family members could provide to them, that was something which was remarkable. So I, but when we look at the, and I stand to be corrected because I would also want to be updated on that. But when we look at the foster care guidelines of CARA, they exclude kinship care from there. So, that's something which also is something which needs to be looked at. That I stand to be corrected, as I said, that because foster care guidelines of CARA 2016, they say that kinship care does not get included within foster care. Now, is there a change? Maybe there is something which I would need to be updated on. And regarding the aspect of the psychosocial support that the children require, I cannot disagree with you at all, Shashankji, because I realize that even for the scheme for children of incarcerated parents, which I have been following very closely, in that scheme also sometimes what happens is that there is a financial component which is very, very important, but there's also a psychosocial component. But what is happening is that even though the financial component was also limitedly implemented, now fortunately DCPCR has taken up the responsibility for trying to see as to how that can be how people can be sensitized with respect to it, and more children could benefit from it. But as far as the psychosocial component was concerned, there was absolutely no there was nothing really happening at that level at all. So I don't want to draw generalizations based upon it, but we realize that even though the scheme was formulated in a manner where there was a recognition of the fact that the caregivers of the children had to be supported so that they could in turn provide the emotional support that the child needs in the absence of both the parents. But what were the mechanisms in place? We tried to understand that, because the DCPU was entrusted with that responsibility, and that was something that we didn't see at the ground level at all. And that's something that I said clearly that there is, the financial component is important, because some of the kin caregivers may not necessarily be able to support the children without the financial support. But at the same point of time, the also helping them to provide the psychosocial support, because the psychosocial support does not necessarily have to be provided by anybody. But if we work with these caregivers itself to support these children, I think that is what is going to help them to I will not say reconcile, but to probably deal with the grief that they are experiencing. And I was very pleasantly surprised, and some of you may have seen that the initiative which has come in from NIMHANS, that the Samvad project, where they talk about the fact that how do you really deal with a child who's experiencing grief. And I think those are that kind of material can be very useful for the kin caregivers also, that how they can help the children understand the departure of another parent, and how do they help them to deal with the uncertainties that they are experiencing. So I'm sorry if I have diverted, but then these are some of my thoughts related to it. And I as I said, I had just come in as a listener, but
okay.
Thank you so much, Shashank ji.
Thank you, ma'am. आपका inputs बहुत important है और रहेगा भी. And we will remain in contact with you. as soon as we move further. But last but not the least, she has just joined, Shali Mittal. वो CPS स्कीम को लीड करती हैं पंजाब में. पंजाब एक ऐसा स्टेट है जहां बच्चों को साझा रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी माना जाता है. सोसाइटी का साझा रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, नॉट प्रॉपर्टी. तो जब शाली जी ने ये देखा और इसके बारे में उनको पता चला, तो she talked to me and I requested her कि वो कुछ अपने एक्सपीरियंस को शेयर करें. पंजाब में वो किस ढंग से इस सारी चीजों को चला रही है, देख रही है. So शाली जी, आपको प्लीज within 5 minutes you complete your whatever you want to say, and wanted to lead us. I'm so thankful to you कि आपने बताया हमें, और and now you are here. So the stage is all yours, Shali ji, please.
Thank you, Shashank ji, and all the participants who are listening to me. Thank you, sir, for giving me the opportunity to talk in this very important issue. So basically, जैसे आपने बताया कि children are the equal responsibility for all of us, particularly in Punjab. But still, sir, we have observed some things. Some of perhaps you all have noticed that कई बार जब हम बच्चों की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी रिलेटिव्स पे डाल देते हैं या बच्चों की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी रिलेटिव्स पे आ जाती है, तो कई बार ऐसा भी होता है कि बच्चों की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी के साथ प्यार शेयर करते करते बच्चे ना घर के नौकर बन जाते हैं. तुम ये करो. खास करके जो बड़े बच्चे होते हैं वो छोटे बच्चों के लिए केयर गिवर का काम करते हैं. I don't know what is the status in other states and other jurisdictions, पर ये actually मेरे तो ध्यान में ये काफी बार आया है. So I and our department thought to have a guidelines, concrete guidelines on it, where we can monitor the children who are staying with the relatives. और ये जो guidelines थी, हमने इस पे काम करना शुरू किया था before COVID. अनफॉर्चुनेटली ये कोविड के चक्कर में तो हमें और लगने लग गया कि ये चीज है जो है वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि जब आपके घर का ब्रेड विनर चला गया, दोनों पेरेंट्स चले गए, तो उसके बाद बच्चों को लुक आफ्टर करना, बच्चों का टेक केयर करना इज ओनली द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ द रिलेटिव्स. सो इस चक्कर में हमने जो गाइडलाइंस थी हमने वो प्रोसेस की. बेसिकली हमने इसमें मेजर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी DCPOs की ही डाली है through village level child protection committees, block level child protection committees. और हमारा इसके लिए sensitization जो work है that is going on side by side. Still हमारी जो हमारी guidelines हैं वो अभी under consideration है, law department के पास अभी वो गई हुई हैं, पर हमने उसमें बहुत सारी चीजें नई include की हैं. हमने डिग्रीज इंक्लूड की हैं कि किनशिप केयर में 1st डिग्री का रिलेशन होगा, 2nd डिग्री का रिलेशन होगा, 3rd डिग्री का रिलेशन होगा. तो उसमें अलग अलग डिग्री के रिलेशनशिप में हमने कैसे मॉनिटरिंग करनी है और किस तरह से हम बच्चों का वेलबींग जो है इंश्योर कर सकते हैं. इसके अलावा सर हमने ये भी रखा है कि उन बच्चों का जो फाइनेंशियल सपोर्ट है, अगर चाहें तो वो DCPOs को स्पॉन्सरशिप एंड फॉस्टर केयर के थ्रू हम उनको लगवाएंगे, या स्टेट की जो बाकी स्कीम्स हैं उनके थ्रू हम उनको एसोसिएट करेंगे. जैसे हमारी पंजाब की एक स्कीम है ऑर्फन बच्चों के लिए है, और स्पेशली वो स्कीम के साथ उनको एसोसिएट करेंगे. इसके अलावा अगर हमें फिर भी ये लगता है कि बच्चा एक्सप्लॉइट हो रहा है या बच्चे का अब्यूज हो रहा है या उसके राइट इन्फ्रिंज हो रहे हैं, तो हम उस केस में उनको चिल्ड्रन होम का भी हमने प्रोविजन रखा है, और जो एक्सक्लूसिव रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होगी वो CWC और DCPOs की उसमें डाली है, और पुलिस का भी उसमें हमने रोल डाला है कि पुलिस कैन रजिस्टर अ केस. इसके अलावा सर हमने जो 2016 की गाइडलाइंस है मिनिस्ट्री की, उसको भी थोड़ा इसमें फॉस्टर केयर का भी इसमें डाला है, उसको भी बेस माना है. इसके अलावा हमने जो ग्रुप फॉस्टर केयर है उसकी रजिस्ट्रेशन के प्रोसेस को, और ग्रुप फॉस्टर केयर बेसिकली है क्या, उसको भी क्लियर किया है. हमने उसमें डाला है कि ग्रुप फॉस्टर केयर में सिंगल पेरेंट नहीं होना चाहिए, देयर शुड बी अ कपल, दो मदर एंड फादर, दो जने होंगे तभी वो एज अ ग्रुप फॉस्टर केयर रजिस्टर होगा. So these are some of the highlights which we try to inculcate in our guidelines. Abhi they are under process, so I'll definitely share the draft whenever it will be approved by our department or our government. So these are some of the things which I just wanted to convey over here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shali ji. Thank you. Thanks a lot. और हमको लगता है कि एक उम्मीद की किरण हमारे सामने है. We can talk to you. We can take your help while we further move for this, and soon we are going to move for this kinship care लीडिंग टू एडॉप्शन। लेकिन एक बात तो साफ है, किनशिप केयर में, फॉस्टर केयर में हो या एडॉप्शन में हो, किसी भी हालत में बच्चे का एक्सप्लॉयटेशन हम नहीं होने देंगे। एंड फॉर दैट जो आपने कहा कंटिन्यूअस मॉनिटरिंग, मे बी कि इन द फर्स्ट ईयर ऑफ किनशिप केयर, फॉस्टर केयर में हम हर 15 डेज पे मॉनिटरिंग करें अगर जरूरत पड़ेगी तो, और हम और लोगों को भी इसमें गवर्नमेंट को एडवाइस करेंगे, लोगों को इन्वॉल्व करने के लिए, एनजीओस को इन्वॉल्व करने के लिए, बिकॉज दे विल नीड अ लॉट ऑफ ह्यूमन रिसोर्सेज फॉर दिस। हमारा एक लिमिटेशन है। और एक तो ये हुआ, दूसरा हो सकता है कि हम CWC से भी रिक्वेस्ट करें कि इंडिविजुअल मेंबर CWC के खुद भी जाकर विजिट करें, वो देखें, और फिर वो फॉस्टर केयर पर अपना एक रैटिफाइड ऑर्डर, CWC का एक ऑर्डर पास हो, दूसरे दिन तीसरे दिन जो भी हो। बट इन एनी केस, इवन इन द नेम ऑफ किनशिप फॉस्टर केयर, we would be the last person, even after the last person, to accept any type of exploitation of a child. तो वो तो हम नहीं एक्सेप्ट करेंगे, गवर्नमेंट को करना चाहिए, इसलिए ये तो बहुत ही क्लियर है। एंड वी वुड डेफिनेटली लाइक टू टॉक टू यू फर्दर, और हम लोग भी अब कल से ही एक डॉक्यूमेंट बनाने में लग जाते हैं। लेट अस सी हाउ इट गोज अप, बिकॉज़ समय कम है, गवर्नमेंट कुछ और डिसीजन ले उसके पहले हम लोगों को ये चीजें गवर्नमेंट के सामने हाईलाइट करने की जरूरत है। थैंक यू, thank you Shali ji, thank you all my participants, each and every speaker. We expect the help from you, we expect the help, we expect the guidance from you all, especially Preeti ji, Neelam ma'am, and all those who spoke today. Anant और जिन्होंने नहीं भी बोला हो, please you are free to approach me and Ratna so that we may accommodate you during our coming sessions on this issue. So I hope everybody. जी रत्ना बताएं। हाँ रत्ना।
With your permission and permission of all my speakers, I would like to leave now because I'm unable to.
No, I know you need. Your physiotherapist is about to come.
Yeah.
So we are also closing down, Ratna. Thank you. Thanks for participating.
And thank you everybody who joined us.
Let them speak again.
We will be meeting again next week or next week.
Sure.
Yeah. By that time, I think we will be having a document based on these discussions.
Yeah.
Anant, I am so thankful to you. And I'm so thankful to everybody who participated today. Everybody, whether you spoke or not. But your consent, what the views which you were sending on the chat box are very important for us. We may come back to you in a week time, and we will be coming with a document also. And let us see how the situation unfolds. Because this is a thing which needs a lot of, what I mean to research. And there are so many things within the JJ system also which we need to know. So thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everybody. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Preeti ji. Looking forward to work with you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye.
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 Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Shekhar. Wish to see you soon.
Thank you, Shashank ji. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, Ratna.
Thank you, Neelam ji.
Thank you. So good to see both of you in action again.